This is a story sequence Claude code made for me this week. Every single frame was generated by AI and it got me 50 keyword replies in 24 hours. I didn't design a single frame or write a single line of text, and the whole thing took only 5 minutes. In this video, I'm going to show you the exact pipeline that makes these and how you can copy it for your own brand. First, I'm going to explain why stories are the place where followers actually turn into customers. Then I'm going to show you the pipeline itself end to end. And at the end, I'm going to give you a free resource so that you can build this for yourself. I've made multiple videos on this channel about how I used Claude Code to completely automate my content production on Instagram, but also for other platforms. Claude Code scripts my reels, edits them, adds music, adds B-roll, and schedules them on Instagram, all fully on autopilot. And this has generated me 1.3 million views and about 5,000 followers gained on Instagram over the span of a little more than a month. But all of these views and the followers that I've gained don't really mean anything until they turn into leads and into customers. And the way we can turn all of these people into leads and then later into paying customers is by driving them to our Instagram DMs. Because in the DMs, we're able to have conversations, identify pain points, make sure that they understand that we can help them with whatever they're struggling with, and then we have a call to action, which in most cases is going to be to get them on a call. That is actually our main business, because what we do for our clients is we automate that entire process of getting people from the content or from your ads into the DMs and then automating the entire conversation with AI, making sure that people are booked in, making sure we qualify them, we send follow-ups whenever necessary, and most importantly, we track everything along the way. But most people simply stop pursuing this once they have a working system that brings people from content into the DMs through comment triggers, having people reaching out to people, but they're leaving the most important thing on the table. And that most important thing is using stories to nurture your audience. Picture this: somebody sees your reel for the first time, they enjoyed the value, and they drop a follow. You then reach out to them because they followed you and you try to set an appointment. There's no trust, they barely know you, they've maybe seen a couple of reels, which comes to a couple minutes of content at the most, but the way that you can fix that is by posting story sequences at least twice a week. A story sequence is meant to build authority, meaning it's meant to show your followers that you know what you're talking about. This can be done by sharing insights, showing proof, showing results, and much more. And secondly, it's meant to provide an easy way for people to follow your call to actions and go into your Instagram DMs, where then you can further nurture them and book in calls. So you either have authority only or you have authority plus call to actions. Those are the two types of story sequences that we use for our clients. Now, if we take a look at this, you can see that I have multiple assets to keep engagement. I have multiple pieces of text as well as proof added in, and I have a call to action at the end where I tell people to reply with content for me to send them the resource that they opt in for. And now imagine somebody watched a reel, followed you, and then over months, you keep displaying authority and call to actions. At a certain point in time, this person will have positioned you in their mind as the absolute expert. And at that point, there's no going back. All you need is the right call to action. They will go into your DMs, end up booking a call and giving you money. But let's be honest for a second. Almost nobody makes stories consistently. Almost nobody, even the biggest coaches in the world, don't have a structure that they follow with their stories. And why is that? Because it's annoying, it's time consuming, you need to come up with an idea. It's basically the same amount of effort as making content, and that's already taking a lot of time. So finding the time to come up with proper story sequences is something that most people just neglect. It's not the most important part. It doesn't gain you more followers, but it does turn the followers into money. So neglecting it is a big mistake. But coming up with fresh ideas, designing every frame, adding in proof, and then having everything disappear after 24 hours is just a massive headache. So when I did it by hand, the stories ended up looking something like this, where there's only 3 stories that are even left in the sequence. Or I ended up making sequences like this that literally took me hours to to create. This sequence literally took me hours to create. Now compared to this one, which arguably looks better, the design is cleaner, and it took me 5 minutes, and I didn't even post it on the account myself. It was posted by Claude for me. Now let me show you how it actually works, because I know you're dying to know at this point. Now what I do is I click on New Sequence, and here I use a tool called Glido to simply talk and put in my idea. So I could say something like this: make a story sequence about how I automated my Instagram DMs on autopilot and also share some results from clients. Now in this case, I'm gonna say, hey, okay, for the type, I don't really want a call to action on this one. I'm just gonna go for authority and give my audience free value. I've now hit generate, and it's now generating the stories, and in a few minutes, it's gonna be done. And here is what that output would look like. We can see that the sequence DMs on autopilot is now done, and we can look through all of these different slides. It says my AI answers every DM while I sleep, no setter, no VA, nobody on shift. It then has different formats for all of the texts. It even has testimonial results, which are from a bank of different testimonials. So I can also say, hey, I don't want this one, I want to use this one instead. And I can simply swap out the result screenshot that I use in real time if I want to use something else. And let's say I wanted to adjust the text right here, I could simply change it to while I party, and it's gonna change the text up here in real time to the new version. And doing this, I can now go through the sequence. I could change the brightness on the background image. Let's say something's too bright, I can simply dial it down. It's gonna take a couple seconds, and it's gonna adjust the sequence in real time, as you can see right here. And I can change the text blocks. Let's say for this one right here, I would want to have the second box be a small one instead of a medium one, which would then adjust this one down here to a small text in real time. Or if I wanted both of them to be big, I could simply change it to big, and it will adjust the text to be big. In the backend, this is hooked up to Claude, so when I click on New Sequence and I generate, it generates it in Claude, and this Claude has access to the skill of how I like to make these sequences, which is the exact framework that we give our clients, as well as a folder with all of my proof screenshots, as well as suitable background images, which it can use for the story sequence. It then smartly analyzes which images to use for which of the slides. It comes up with the text, and then, as I said, it makes it incredibly easy for me to tweak it a little bit before I then say, hey, I want to schedule this out on my Instagram. I can then say, hey, I want it on my Instagram story or Facebook story. I can say I want to publish it now, or I want to have it pre-scheduled at a set date and time, or I can just save it as a draft. I can then hit schedule, and it will automatically schedule it on Instagram or Facebook using a tool called Metricool. If you've seen my videos on using Claude to automate my Instagram Reels, you will know that when I schedule these videos, it schedules it using Metricool. And the same system applies here to the story scheduling. It happens through Metricool, which is a third-party tool, and it allows you to schedule Reels, trial reels, stories on Instagram, and it also allows you to schedule to Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, any other platform that you can imagine. And even with me manually adjusting and tweaking these sequences a little bit, it takes me at most 10 minutes from start to finish of making a sequence, excluding the time that it takes Claude to make it, because usually I'll sit down, I'll start voice noting it using Glido, and then once it's done generating, I'll come in and I'll tweak the text a little bit. And if we take this example right here, if somebody replies with content to this story, it then automatically sends them the resource, and my AI appointment setter asks them a follow-up question and tries to book them into a call. Now, if you want to set up the system for yourself inside of Claude, understand how I did it and how you can do the same thing, I'm gonna put a free resource down below in the description. Simply click the link, completely free. You can take that file, put it into your Claude, and it's gonna walk you through the process of setting up something similar for yourself. And if you're tired of doing everything yourself, from content to story sequences to having human appointment setters in your DMs, and you want help implementing all of this and scaling up your business like we've done for dozens of coaches before you, simply go ahead, click the link down below in the description, book in a call, let's see if it's a good fit and if there's some synergy here for us to work together. And with that being said, I hope you have a great day. Please leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this in the future.